the questions about, obviously there's character over chemistry piece, and you've talked about this before, just about how like dating and relationships are sacred to you, and it's hard. Like you don't just dive in. And,
No.
You're very careful and composed, and like again, I think you're such an accomplished person internally and externally, and society, and I talk a lot about this in my book, where society has made us believe that we're inadequate if we're not with someone.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I completely disagree with that, obviously.
So do I, yeah.
You have another section in this book, which is all about the power of finding solitude, which I love, which I'm such a big proponent of. And even in Tanya's case, she was talking about how like being single was so important for her now being together, and she was able to achieve things. So how have you made peace with that part in your life, where that's something you're figuring it out? It's not something that's worked out, but you're not disqualifying yourself because of it. You're not making it reflect on who you are. And obviously, as I'm saying, I know who you are, and anyone I'm just throwing out there would be lucky to be with Raquelle.
True, thank you.
Truly, and I mean that. And I've always said that to you, like off camera, like you know that.
Yeah.
And so, but you're someone who's patient and getting it right. So like, how do you deal with that as we're dealing with all this other noise as well? Because
it's a great question. So first of all, character over chemistry every day. I completely agree with everything that Tanya said. You can find a lot of people that you have chemistry with, but you want to be with a person of character. That's what's going to lead to a peaceful life. I have not dated seriously in the last 10 years, which I think can be really surprising to people, because they're like, you're in your 20s, it's, your prime, and you're not dating. And it is something that I take extremely seriously. So I do go on dates, and I'm open to it, but unless something truly feels right and I see the person as a person of integrity, a person of character, time is too precious, and I will not invest my time in someone that I don't feel is right for me. And through not dating, I've been able to have an amazing time in my 20s with my friends and building a career and traveling and living a great, very fulfilled life as a single person. And I feel enough and whole on my own. So for me to be with someone, which I would love to be with someone, I would like to find a partner of character, someone that together we are stronger. I love that saying, two are stronger than one. I would absolutely love that, but I am totally content and at peace in the meantime, and I'm open to it. And I think that, you're right. There is a lot of pressure on people to feel like, oh, I'm not enough if I don't have a partner. But of course we are. We're individuals, and we are, the truth is you're born alone and you die alone. And so your relationship with you is the most important thing to prioritize. And when you prioritize that, then you're going to be the best version of yourself for when that partner does come along.
But I do think it's like so important for people to hear that, because I do think that there are a lot of people, myself included, if I looked at myself at 21, I didn't think I could function without I was just jumping from relationship to relationship. I didn't want to be alone. And when I was single, I was able, I lived alone for the first time. And I started investing my money and things that I just never thought that I would do or I could do on my own. I always say, I'm a modern woman, and I really feel like I developed this strong sense of self. And now that I do have a partner, she's made me stronger as a person and my life better. But I feel like it's so important, because if you just attach yourself to somebody because you don't want to be single, it can lead you down a bad path. It's not going to lead you to your potential if you're just dating somebody because you don't want to be alone. I think you need to date someone to elevate you.
And I think it's so right. Like, I think when you run from relationship to relationship to relationship, that's when you fall in love instead of growing in love. And I think for anyone, like I've been with Riley now for nearly 10 years, and it's been more growth than falling. Like, yes,
I like that fall and grow.
Yeah, it's like we fell in love, sure. Like that statement I've always wanted to fall in love. So that's but that's because of Hollywood, and that's because of movies and music. That's not because of me. Now as someone who believes I'm in love with someone who's in love with me, we're growing every day. We don't fall more deeply in love together. Like we grow more deeply in love. There's so much more evolution and learning. And it's really interesting. I was talking about this the other day, that so many people feel like enjoyment is the peak of a relationship. And I'd actually say the amount you've grown together and evolved together is like the peak of a relationship, because it makes life easier rather than, just pleasure. Not saying there isn't any, kind of like the chemistry and character point.